Okay, let's bring in David Des Roches now. He is a professor at the National Defense University and he joins me live from Williamsburg in Virginia. Welcome to you, David. I'd like to start with that comment by President Putin when he revealed that Russia does know the nationalities of the suspects that they arrested and said that they were foreign nationals without revealing which particular countries they came from. But he importantly mentioned that they were headed for Ukraine according to the intelligence that they gathered so far, and said that they believed that there was a window being prepared for them on the Ukrainian side. It's significant that he's mentioned Ukraine in this horrific attack. What do you make of those comments?
Well, I think that I think that if Russia were to have an earthquake right now, Putin would probably attribute that to Ukraine as well. But it does make sense that if these attackers were, as been reported in other sources from Central Asia, that they would make way for Ukraine, because that's the border that Russia probably has the least control over at the moment. And Russian forces and Russian security forces along that border are focused looking outward towards Ukraine rather than inward towards Russia. So if I were in Russia and trying to leave of all Russia's frontiers, that would be the one I would make for. But I think that it's extremely unlikely that there was any Ukrainian government support for this attack, which I think is what Putin was trying to suggest.
Yeah, I mean, from what you're saying, it sounds like he's still throwing some politicking in there, despite the fact that this is an immense tragedy. What about the claim the United States says that it did pass intel on to Russia about the fact that they suspected there could be an attack about to take place? I've not heard anything about an official Russian response, but is that the sort of thing that a country would do, even though the US is effectively fighting a proxy war against Russia, in that it's sending a lot of support for Ukraine? Would it still work almost like an ally with Russia in circumstances when it comes to terrorist attacks?
It would, and it does. So the reports are that the information the United States passed, and we also publicly notified our citizens in Russia, was for an attack that would have occurred 2 weeks ago. So what we don't know whether that information was just mistaken, whether it was this attack which was postponed, or whether it was for another attack which was foiled or canceled for some reason. This is the second one. But we do this because we view terrorism, first off, as being a global concern. We also passed information to the Iranians about the ISIS blast at the memorial ceremony for Qasem Soleimani in Kerman a few months ago. And it's worth noting that 100 civilians were killed in that blast, but most of the Iranian leadership made themselves absent from that. So they have taken some absence. Another more self-interested thing is that there's a large number of American citizens, dual nationals, in both Iran and Russia. So not only is this a practical matter, and we expect, and we have had other countries, even countries we don't have the best relations with, pass us information, but also if there are any American citizens in that country, typically dual nationals, we don't want to see them caught up in this.
Fascinating insights. Great to speak to you. David Des Roches is my guest there. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.